Do you want to know what it's like to live in Fort Worth, Texas? In this video, I'm going to share the top 7 things I love about Fort Worth. I'm Keela McGraw, your favorite DFW realtor, and I've helped a lot of people relocate to the area. So I moved to Fort Worth in 1995. Since then, I've seen the city evolve and grow into what it is now. In fact, the U.S. Census Bureau released its population estimates as of July 1st, 2022. And Fort Worth's population of over 956,000 people made it the 13th largest city in the United States. Not only that, but of all of the cities with populations over 50,000 people, Fort Worth had the largest gain in population in the past year, with over 19,000 people added, and that is an average of over 53 people per day. So these population spikes that we're seeing in Fort Worth is no surprise to me. So that just speaks to all of the great things that are happening in Fort Worth that is really attracting people to the city. So let's dive into a few things that I personally like about Fort Worth, and I think that you will probably agree with a lot of these things too. So let's talk about the cost of living. We get a lot of calls about people relocating to the area because they heard that Fort Worth had a lower cost of living. The cost of living in Fort Worth is 5% lower than the national average, according to payscale.com. Some of the other contributors to that include groceries, which are 7% lower, and housing, which is 14% lower than the national average. So all that to say, it's no surprise that people are attracted to Fort Worth as a place to call home. The median sales price of a home in Fort Worth as of June of 2023 was $342,000. That is actually lower than the DFW median average of a home, which is $388,000. That is one of the factors, the pricing of housing in Fort Worth, that is really refreshing. People feel like they are getting a great deal to move to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and get a house that seems like it's so deeply discounted, just because the housing cost in Fort Worth is quite a bit less than just that DFW average. So for that $342,000 price, you can get a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, maybe even a 4-bedroom with about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. And the good thing about this price point is that you can even get a new construction home for about $340,000 in Fort Worth. So that is definitely one of the things that attracts a lot of folks. If you don't want to deal with the hassle of buying an older home, you do have that option of purchasing a new construction that is still going to get you a great deal and not break the bank. Now, there's a variety of housing choices in Fort Worth. You do have single family homes, but you also have condos and townhomes that are sprinkled throughout the city. I know I mentioned the median home price for a home in Fort Worth was $342,000, but you can also find something for $200,000 all the way up to over $1 million for housing in Fort Worth. So there's something for everyone when it comes to housing. You can get a condo, townhome, single family home, multifamily if you're an investor, just plenty to choose from. Another great thing about living in Fort Worth is the job market. So the job market is strong and healthy in Fort Worth. You have your larger employers in Fort Worth, such as Fort Worth Independent School District, American Airlines, and Lockheed Martin. But because Fort Worth is in that Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, there are plenty of other companies that you can venture out to for employment opportunities. There are over 20 Fortune 500 companies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so there's plenty to choose from. And on top of that, if you have a small business or you're an entrepreneur, lots of support and opportunities to have a thriving and growing business in Fort Worth. Fort Worth, because of the size of the city, it's knocking on 1 million people here pretty soon, I'm sure. But because of the size of the city, there's plenty to do for everyone. Families, single folks, older folks, younger folks, whatever. So one of the cool places that I like to visit is the Culture District. The Fort Worth Cultural District is one of those cool places that has 6 museums. It's walkable. You can walk to all of the museums because they are all in pretty close proximity. You have the Amon Carter Museum, the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. There's also the Kimball Art Museum, the Modern Art Museum of Fort Worth. They even have the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame, and the Cattle Raisers Museum. And if nature is your thing, you have the Fort Worth Botanic Gardens, which is beautiful. They have all types of different gardens there that you can go and view. Lots of cool places to take pictures there. You occasionally will see like graduation pictures being taken there, or wedding photos and things like that. Fort Worth Zoo, one of my favorite places. We just went there a couple of weeks ago. Fort Worth Zoo is one of those places that you have got to visit. You can pet the giraffes, you can feed different sea animals there. Just a cool place to go. You'll get your steps in, kids will be happy. They have food, they even have misters there for this severe Texas heat that we experience sometimes. Then of course you have your festivals. Fort Worth has some wonderful festivals. You have the Fort Worth Arts Festival, which is very popular. It's one that we like to frequent and just check out different vendors and artists there. And we can't talk about Fort Worth without mentioning the Fort Worth Stockyards. You've got to visit the stockyards. They have a cattle drive that operates twice a day. Unless it's super duper hot, then they might cut back. But the cattle drive is something where you get to see some Texas Longhorn cattle go down the street. It's very kind of like historic feeling there. They have brick paved streets. You see real cowboys in all of their attire. So it's a really cool place to go to, and plenty of restaurants and places to visit in the stockyards while you're viewing that cattle drive. So one of the cooler, newer places that has popped up in Fort Worth is the Dickies Arena. And it is a place where you can go to some cool comedy shows and festivals and events. They have concerts there. All types of performers come to Dickies Arena. It's definitely one of those places that if you live in or near Fort Worth, you'll probably go visit there for an event. And of course, if you are in a city the size of Fort Worth, you want to know about the shopping that is available there. And Fort Worth is definitely one of those destination places for shopping, surprisingly. One of the newest places that I'm really excited about is the Shops at Clear Fork. The Shops at Clear Fork has some amazing stores, and we're talking about higher end stores, which is definitely something that I think Fort Worth was lacking before. But now with Clear Fork there, you have stores such as Burberry, Tiffany & Company, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. So definitely some of those higher end stores, but that's not all they have. I mean, it's not just the stores. You also have restaurants there and fun, just entertainment venues. So go check out Clear Fork. They have a movie theater there, AMC movie theater. You can go to Pinstripes, which has bowling, food, and bocce ball, which is something that is growing in popularity here in the US. So go check it out. It's something for everyone, and it is beautiful. The aesthetics there are gorgeous. Other shopping that I must mention is University Park Village, and that is near TCU, Texas Christian University. There you'll have plenty of shopping there as well. You have the Apple Store, Lululemon, and it is near the Trinity River. University Park Village has been around for a while. It was there when I was attending school at TCU, but they've added on, and I'm glad to see all the changes that they've made, and there's still room to grow. So plenty of shopping options. And I must mention downtown Fort Worth as well. Downtown Fort Worth has some shopping, great restaurants. Some have rooftops that you'll definitely want to check out. Fort Worth's downtown is pretty walkable. I do enjoy going down there. You can park, you can eat, play. They even have a place in like Sundance Square where there's some fountains that pop up for kids to kind of take their shoes off and play in the water and things like that. Something for everyone in downtown Fort Worth as well. And if you are a foodie like me, there are plenty of dining options in Fort Worth. Of course, you have your chain restaurants, but you also have some of those specialty shops that are specific to the Fort Worth area. You can't be in Texas and in a city called Fort Worth without some great barbecue. So you have some great barbecue options, but there's also just a wide cuisine that can satisfy really any palate. Another great thing about living in Fort Worth, and what really drew me into choosing Fort Worth as a great city to live in, was the hospitality. People were friendly. I love being able to go out and instead of people frowning or looking, mean, they're smiling, their eyes are inviting and things like that. And this is from all cultures. And that was really something that I appreciated living in Fort Worth, especially coming from a different state. And one of the main reasons why I chose Fort Worth was Texas Christian University. So Fort Worth has a college vibe to it. TCU is definitely the dominant university or college in Fort Worth, but there are other universities there too. You have Texas Wesleyan University that is in Fort Worth, Tarrant County Community College. So just know that Fort Worth, even though it is a larger city, it does have that small town college vibe to it, especially in certain parts of the city where TCU is. So Fort Worth definitely embraces TCU as its dominant university. It's not surprising to see, sprinkles of TCU just throughout the city. You'll see, purple flags on light posts and things like that. And sometimes they'll even paint the city purple, and so the downtown skyline will have the purple and white TCU colors on their buildings. So it's one of those cities that really does have that small town college vibe to it, but you're in a large metropolitan area. And it's one of the great things that I love about Fort Worth. So do you have any questions about living in Fort Worth? Give me a call, text, or email, and I'll see you in the next video.